So, like till my first examination, like almost every day I used to study before my office started, like for 2 hours over there. So I was very consistent over there, and that helped me build a confidence into my curriculum, my knowledge of the curriculum. Like I'm sure, like I know this, I will be able to tackle this. So that kind of mentality that helped me cultivate that mentality. On the day of the exam, like the exam center was roughly 1.5 hours away from my home over here. So even while traveling to the exam center, like the GMAT, like I'm taking a GMAT examination, didn't even crop up in my head. I don't know why. Like I was thinking about different things, speaking to different people. So that I would not call myself that nervous on the day of the exam, definitely. And I didn't even face time pressures. My verbal, I had 4 minutes remaining. DI, I had 5 minutes remaining. Quant, I had 15 to 20 minutes remaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my order as well. Verbal, DI, quant. So focus on your weakness, build on your strengths. Everything else will fall into place, honestly.
Right.
Don't worry about a lot. Don't worry. Don't take all the tension on your shoulders. Relax. It's an exam. You will manage it. You will figure it out.
Good afternoon, Aryaman. So, how are you doing today?
Doing very well. Thank you, Natasha. Thank you for
It,
joining this call.
I've been really looking forward to kind of connect with you because I think last week you were busy out at the work, and this has been like an incredible moment, which is you got a 99
Yeah.
percentile in the last attempt, and you got a 100 percentile right there, right? And looking at the score, and I want to really spend a little more time just looking at both of these score, something very important because then we will talk about what really prompted you for a second attempt and in a very short span of time when you already got a 99 percentile. So in here, when we look at your score, you had a 99 percentile, 705, 89 percentile in quant, 98 percentile in verbal, and 98 percentile again in data insight. I can get a motion as to why you would have considered probably quant, right? Reconsidered. And here we are looking at 100 percentile in quant, 100 percentile in data insight, and verbal kind of dipped slightly lower. So you tell me now, what prompted you to reconsider another attempt? You know that there are risk involved, and that the outcome could potentially really increase your score or maybe even lower the score, right? So tell me what prompted. Yes.
Yeah, the reason over here, I would say was two. One was like you pointed out correctly, I think the quant aspect. Because like I was pretty confident like quant, like I thought like, and I was already getting 100 percentile in my previous score. But again, when the score actually turned out, I was a bit surprised as to where I had made those mistakes, because actually quant, I had 15 minutes left even after completing my entire section. So then I reviewed it once again and I thought everything was in place only. So I didn't see anything off over there. But turns out I made two, three mistakes over there, which was a bit surprising to me. And quant I think, has been my strong suit in GMAT. So, and I've also heard like when, like personally, I want to break into the finance field. So I've heard like after your MBA or something, those finance companies even particularly tear apart your quant score. So I thought like if it is my strong suit and if it is that picked apart, so I definitely can sit for another attempt, which would to eliminate my silly mistakes basically over there. And another reason why second attempt was a 705, like it's a 99 percentile, and pragmatically speaking, like percentiles are dropping every year. So I'm not planning to apply this year itself. So I'm planning to apply next year mostly. So percentiles are dropping every year. And I thought that there's no downside in taking another attempt. If it increases my chances to a bigger scholarship, that 30,000 rupees of investment, it's not a big investment to consider like that big. So yeah.
So, Ariman, I was just going through your profile, and we've also known it from the past. You have a very interesting profile, starting from even during your college, you had like a startup, and then you kind of went into finance. And of course, now you're in Bain and Co. So, why don't you just tell about your background and how did this entire GMAT and an MBA journey kind of spun around in this entire journey of yours? And you can also talk about where did you graduate and when did you graduate and all that.
Sure. Correct. So I'll talk a bit about that. So I'm hailing from Calcutta. I did my schooling from Calcutta, the Martin for boys, and then I went on to do my graduation also from Calcutta, like St. Xavier's College, like pursuing economic honors over there. Alongside, I've cleared like 3 levels of CFA. So that is a bit about my educational pedigree over here. So that basically because I was really interested in the finance field, so that's what attracted me to the CFA designation over there, and that really helped me hone my finance acumen as well. And moreover, from there on, I've been working at firms like PwC for 1 year and then Bain for like 2 years. So right now, why an MBA I'm planning as well is firstly about, it's more about global mobility. Like I was looking to move to the United States, which is known as the financial hub of the world, actually. So majorly work into the buy side roles over there. Or get a great exposure. So I think an MBA from a tier one university particularly would definitely help me and propel me into my career aspirations over here. So one of my major reasons to do that was that, and the GMAT definitely fits into this context of things. Like if you wanna do an tier one MBA, GMAT is absolutely necessary.
Right. So you started off always, you mentioned quant was your strength. DI, of course, we wouldn't know until you find out about the GMAT itself. You would eventually know
Yeah.
about the data insights when you get in. So with all that, with quant being your strength and with verbal not so much as quant, how did you stumble upon Sandeep sir and how did you get through top 1%?
So Top's journey was pretty interesting for me because like a lot of people around me, like my friends and all, they also taking GMAT. So I spoke to them like, what do you think will help me to get the quickest, and who do you think is the most efficient over there? So they had like one word on them, like you can reach out to Sandeep sir, top 1%. So he's a great tutor and he really mentors you well as well. So definitely I reached out to Richa. So I was in talks with Richa, and I had that demo class as well. So that demo class really gave me insights into how he teaches and like his strive for excellence as well, which really resonated with what I wanted to my GMAT prep to look like as well. So that was definitely like a no-brainer over there. So I definitely joined there, and the journey has been scintillating. After joining top, like his strive for excellence is also seen in the materials provided by him. Like that's not easy if people genuinely do it as well. But that really trains you well to tackle the difficult aspects of GMAT, and it really helps you build focus, study for longer hours, all of which are paramount to getting, I think, a good score in GMAT. So the
Yes.
entire learning curve, I think, is pretty steep.
So what's more interesting is we had another student yesterday I spoke to who had a similar kind of a transition from 695 to 765 and
Yeah.
he exactly had the same thing to say. He resonated with Sandeep sir's principle philosophy at to strive excellence, right? He is really pushing you there, and that kind of shows your, the idea of not settling when you know you're very close to getting that 100%, you just did not kind of get let it go. I think any other place, anyone else would say, बहुत बढ़िया है, you can now start to apply. But I think that in you and that in him kind of just matched there. So how did you go about, let's say, I want to just maybe again, it's a back and forth, right? So um, from your first attempt, that is a 6705 score to a 755, what did you really plan? How did you craft the entire practice? Did you only focus on quant because then quant kind of taped on?
I would like to correct you over here. Like my first attempt was 655, then 705, then 755.
Oh, so this is a third attempt, right? Okay, all right. So let's say about when you got a 99 percentile to maybe 100 percentile, right? So how did that happen? What really changed? Because then how many days did you say did you take between the 2 weeks?
Just like the cutoff, like 16 days I took the exam. Honestly, I would say like nothing changed because I think the first week I was out for training, company training. I didn't even touch my material over there. And I knew it at the back of my head, like, so if I could do a 99 over there, and I'm not sure what held me back to Quant. So because I was very with the Quant aspect over here. Hello?
Just a second.
Can
I
you hear
think
me now?
you're freezing a bit. All right. So we were talking about the how did you go ahead about your 2 weeks of plan? What exactly were you planning on? Or even otherwise, maybe from the first attempt as well. What exactly did you focus so that you get this 100 percentile score?
So, if I'll be very honest with you, I think I was most prepared to take my first attempt. Afterwards, like all those attempts, like it was a derivative of whatever I prepared for my first attempt mostly. And I think the major shift that happened was not between my second and my third attempt, but my second attempt. Wherein, like, when I realized, like, GMAT definitely is a big function of your prep, of your commitment, definitely. But it's also a function of that day and how it goes for you. So, if you put a lot of emphasis on that day, you tend to be a bit nervous and you make a lot of silly mistakes. So a perspective change really helped me over here. And how that happened was like, why put so much emphasis on one day when you have like 5, 6 days to cover for it? I know everyone wants to clear it in the first attempt or second attempt, but just not pressuring myself to like do it on that attempt itself, that day itself, that really helped me calm my nerves a bit. And the proportion of my silly mistakes, they drastically decrease after that.
Hmm.
So, and majority of my mistakes are denominated by silly mistakes itself, like when I was evaluating my mocks. So that really helped me cut down my error percentage, and that really boosted my score a lot. So this is one thing which was really beneficial to me, apart from like the prep, everything. But this one perspective change, I think, really helped me a lot personally.
Right. Speaking of
Yeah.
the resources,
Yeah.
what study material or resources that truly elevated your preparation? You can speak for every section there.
So honestly, I've not used much of the resources apart from Sandeep sir's provided material, the PDFs and everything. Like if my recommendation is taken over here, I would say it is more than sufficient to prepare for any GMAT examination. It is more than sufficient over here. It covers exhaustively all the type of questions that can be asked. And the portal, especially to prepare, is like it is a bit difficult when thrown in hand, but again, it prepares you well, I think. Over there.
Right. See,
Yeah.
what I truly believe is that every test taker have their own challenges
Correct.
while they're preparing. In the preparation phase, more so, maybe there is a break, like you mentioned, you had to be sent to a training place at some point. So, where I'm getting at is inconsistency in the preparation, or sometimes that you could not give a dedicated time. So, how did that kind of impact, and what would you have done better, or different, perhaps?
Correct. So what inconsistencies started, I would not call it like inconsistency over here. And why so? Because like till my first examination, like almost every day I used to study before my office started, like for 2 hours over there. So I was very consistent over there, and that helped me build a confidence into my curriculum, my knowledge of the curriculum. Like I'm sure like I know this, I will be able to tackle this. So that kind of mentality that helped me cultivate that mentality. And from then on, like it was just about for me, it was just about reducing my percentage of silly mistakes.
Hmm.
So I was confident, like I had a good grasp of the curriculum over here, and whatever helped me cut down my silly percentages was a major game changer for me. And more so like from my second to my third. So I had only taken like 2 3 mocks here and there, and maybe just a some practice question before my examination. And I thought like I was ready for my next attempt as well, because like I was pretty confident with the prep that I'd done with the tops material as well, like to tackle most of the questions on GMAT as well. So that really helped me a lot.
I'm hoping that we don't sound very redundant, but I would like to probably spend a little more time. There's a lot
Yeah.
of students, right? They are at this target of 655, 645 and below. And
Yeah.
that's where they're like, how do I kind of go to a 99 percentile or a 100 percentile mark? So obviously at this point, you've done the entire material, all the content, you're thorough with the what Sandeep sir has asked you to do. Now, from this point to a 99 percentile or the 100 percentile, you said one of the things is that you really worked on the silly mistakes. What are the other things that you would probably attribute to that you focused on to make sure that there is a correction, there is a progress to that percentile?
So more tangibly speaking, like more what I did was I took a lot of mocks. Like earlier, I used to take like 1 mock a week type. So that was there definitely. Like it helped me get into the exam mode and all. But like taking more mocks, like 3 4 mocks a week, maybe even on a repeat basis for that matter, like that really helped me like get into that exam mode, like tackle those questions, like that exam format. Because if I have to give anyone, I think a GMAT question separately, it's not that difficult to it's not that difficult to answer those questions. But if you're definitely want to combine them together, put a time on your head and then like in that order itself. So I think that becomes a true challenge of GMAT. So
Right.
facing that challenge more frequently on a weekly basis definitely helped me as well. And more so like definitely repeating the questions also, like going through the questions, maintaining an error log of what you did.
Yeah.
What Yeah, correct. So that was one thing which really helped me as well.
Error log is something that would really help you look back on the questions that making mistakes. So
Yeah.
would you be able to highlight some more? How did the error log kind of help?
So my error log was majorly again for my verbal, because since day one, like one was I found it a bit tricky to begin with, but again, like as and when you remember the concepts that you worked in class 10, class 11, 12, so then that comes to you naturally type. So it got built into me. So one I again would say like it was like a bit easier to prepare for me, but verbal was like a major challenge for me. So all of this effort I've done for verbal. So verbal, I've spent like targeted weeks, targeted days practicing verbal RC, verbal CR, every topic wise. Like 2 weeks straight, I've done only CR, nothing else, 2 hours every day types. So that has really helped me with my verbal. So even I'm not sure what happened with my last attempt in the 100 percentile one, but again, like my previous 2 attempts, my verbal was my score puller, like a 98 percentile in both my yeah. So I'm not sure what happened this time, but yeah, might be the day.
So, on the exam day, that's what we are speaking of. One of the things that you also mentioned earlier that you try to maintain your calm composure. That is one of the other thing that I would like to hear out. That even in any of your attempts, maybe second one and the third one would have gotten better, of course. But did you lose out, or were you like nervous? Did you have any of that kind of a symptoms? I would say on the day of the exam. Were you like panicking, or was there time problem, pacing? Any of that kind of showed up? And how did
I
you really
would
control?
answer that question like separately. My second attempt, like it was I think like almost a month back now. So my second attempt, like I was a tad bit nervous the day before the exam, like not on the day of the exam, but yeah, definitely thinking about it because I didn't have a score to fall back upon. Because my so I was a bit nervous, definitely speaking over here. But again, like on the day of the exam, like the exam center was roughly 1.5 hours away from my home over here. So even while traveling to the exam center, like the GMAT, like I'm taking a GMAT examination didn't even crop up in my head. I don't know why. Like I was thinking about different things, speaking to different people. So that I would not call myself that nervous on the day of the exam, definitely for my second attempt.
Right.
And I didn't even face time pressures in my second attempt. Like in my verbal, I had 4 minutes remaining. DI, I had 5 minutes remaining. Quant, I had 15 to 20 minutes
15.
remaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my order as well. Verbal, DI, Quant. So yeah.
Right. And in the first attempt, you had some experience like that.
First attempt, I was very nervous. Yeah, very nervous. Picking about on everything. Oh shit, tomorrow is my GMAT. Oh, today is my GMAT. I was extremely nervous.
In retrospect, right now that you're out of it, if you want to go back and tell yourself, what would you have done better to kind of control this nerves, control the composure? Because then we just don't want people to give so many attempts in the first place. Had you
Yeah.
known this one tip and during that exam, what would that be on the exam?
I would make it two maybe. One definitely was you need to relax, you need to calm down because it definitely I like even when I began preparing, like major proportions of the mistakes have been denominated by silly mistakes for me. If I thought one day I was thinking if I eliminated all my silly mistakes, like definitely it's gonna stratospherically boost my score. So anything that propels you to cut down your silly mistakes is something which should be worked upon, definitely. That is one piece of advice. And another thing that happened to me was this confidence quant. It with quant it got into a bit of complacency for me as well. Like for 3 4 days before the exam also, I didn't touch quant. I was only practicing verbal because verbal was my weak suit. So I think the quant was the thing that pulled me back on my first attempt itself as well. So if that would have been in place, so I think it would have been the first attempt itself.
Yeah, in retrospect, I would say that, I think practice would boost your confidence and confidence would really calm the nerves. That has been like, I think the way we would say. So on the exam day, you took up a certain order. You said verbal, DI, and quant. Like you took your the strong suit at the very end. Why did you choose that order? And this time around, did you lose out on time? What are the things that you ensured that that would give you a 100 percentile score? What did you more focus on?
So yeah, correct. So why this order I would answer first. Like verbal, I think was the most trickiest for me and it required the greatest mental capacity from my end. So definitely that was gonna be first for me. Like I needed like still focus on verbal, not here or there because long passages, CR was again a bit tricky. So verbal, I needed my entire 100% over there. Then quant, what I felt is like I find it fun also quant. So I don't mind even when I'm exhausted to do a bit of quant. Even after coming from office, I don't mind to pick up a bit of quant. So that is why those three sections fell into those respective positions as well. So like quant at the last, DI in between, and then verbal.
Oh,
So
nice.
verbal, break, DI, quant. That was my particular order for all the
Nice.
three exams.
Nice. Very, very odd sequence. Generally, people take like quant verbal DI or quant DI verbal.
Yeah.
You've taken a
One
very
thing,
different
like
order.
I know, like I was also trying to figure in my last attempt, should I change that order because quant every time I'm having at least 10 15 minutes remaining. So those 10 15 minutes could act as a break between quant and DI for me.
Right.
So I would like one official break, one unofficial break. But again, I thought like let's not control all of this. Like let's not focus on all of this. Focus more on solving the questions. Everything else will fall into place.
Right. Aryaman, did you see yourself in through your preparation taking help of any of the faculty support, doubts or questions, queries, anything
Yeah,
that you
like I
found
was.
useful?
Yeah, I had hopped on a strategy call also with the top team over here because like I said, like the portal, I was solving the verbal on the portal and it was definitely like a confidence tool for me. Like I thought I'm not sure what I've done in verbal, everything I started questioning over there. So then they gave me some confidence as well. It is a bit difficult. It is sourced from LSAT as well, but you need to perform over here so that you have the confidence so that you can perform on the exam itself. So they
Right.
gave me a bit of impetus and push as well. That really helped me also like focus like how it is difficult, but this is something that you need to conquer so that you are confident and you are able to perform on the exam. So all of this, a culmination of the entire ecosystem, I think really propels you forward over there.
Super. So there are obviously times, and you also touch based on these, that sometimes you had to give maybe an attempt of the mocks twice, or revisit this question twice. And a lot of people do have this apprehension that, but I already know the answer to this question. Why? How can I even go through the question again, right? So what is your take on that? And you have already gone through some of the test or questions twice or thrice. So how did you go about it?
So I think what helped me here was like definitely at the back of your head, you know the answer somewhere or the other because you have done that CR question, you know what options are to eliminate over here, what is the reasoning going to look like. But again, like just drawing up that era of reasoning, that chain of reasoning in your head like this is because this is happening. So that is just revision for you. Okay, this is one set of reasoning which is definitely there on the exam. So that really ingrains it in you, like, okay, this is one type of reasoning which is definitely there. This is one type of reasoning. So there are like some, I think what I noticed, there are some set of reasonings, like some set of questions which are definitely tested. So if something helps you build a mind map of whatever chain of reasoning is to follow, that really helped me personally a lot. Definitely not going to the answer, like just reading the question and going to the answer is one thing because you remember it. But again, like revisiting that chain of reasoning, that really like ingrained that logic into me as well, which really helped me.
Right. Amazing insights. But now I would like to now ask you to summarize. If I have to probably ask you, and this is a very rich experience, from let's say 655 to 755, right? And not settling on the 99 percentile score also. And you said if someone was to listen to your recommendation, I would say if we do not listen to your recommendation, then who else is, right? So if you want to really summarize into this list of to-dos and to-don'ts based on your experience, and you can really include even the other factors apart from Sandeep sir's content, material, and the practice that you've taken, but any other external support that you had from friends or from family or from faculty, whatever external thing, or your own self motivation for that matter, to wake up every single day to see that M7, and what would you kind of put that list in do's and don'ts?
So do's, I'll talk about first. So do's is what helped me was again like, and so there was an ecosystem, like all my friends, my flatmates, my family, they all were like really supportive of it. So some of my friends and my flatmates are still preparing for the GMAT. So all of us together preparing, that creates an ecosystem of pushing each other as well, which really helped me definitely. And I've received immense support and encouragement from my parents every step of the way, and I'm really thankful for that as well. And what really, again, one of more do's is like focus. I would say build on your weakness. Like at least what helped me was verbal was weak for me to begin with. Targeted verbal practice for 2 weeks, 3 weeks gave me recurrence confidence in verbal. Like I can tackle questions in verbal, whatever question it might be, like 80%, 70%, I might be able to get it right. So that really boosted my confidence, helped me calm my nerves, avoid silly mistakes. So this was one thing which, if I work on my weakness, I think that you get a bit of confidence as well. So this is one or two do's from me. Don't get nervous. I think everything else falls into place for me. And I think be a bit consistent in your practice, because if you leave it somewhere, then you have to pick it up from scratch again. So there's a lot of time you waste over here, I would say. So don't leave it in between. Be consistent, like finish it off at once, I would say. If possible, definitely. If not, maybe do it again. But yeah.
So are your flatmates, like, have they done finish with their score, or they're still preparing?
No, I think they're still in the process right now.
So
Yeah.
if you want to give like a shout out from the rooftop saying that this is something you must do, buddy, like a very informal way of saying, advices to them, now that you have a 755, they're going to definitely listen to your advice 100%. But if you really want to, formalize in formal way, what would you say to them?
Formalize and informal way, and advice to me is um focus on your weakness, build on your strengths. Everything else will fall into place, honestly.
Right.
Don't worry about a lot. Don't worry. Don't take all the tension on your shoulders. Relax, it's an exam, you will manage it, you'll figure it out.
Right. So amazing, amazing entire journey. I really feel that, this, if it was not for an excellence, right? If you were not striving for that, you would have probably settled for a 655 if it was anybody else, anywhere else, right? It is because it's an excellent, you really wanted a 755. You wanted to see into the M7, maybe New York, Columbia, maybe Yale, maybe Harvard, maybe Wharton, right? Maybe if it was not any of these target schools, then none of these would have happened for you, for sure. And this is what he is wishing you, that admit happens soon. You're not applying this year, maybe you're applying next year or a year later. But such a big, big relief, because now you can focus on your career. You can focus on how do you want to steer your profile, which makes your application strong. So here's wishing you all the best, that an admit happens. Keep in touch, Aryaman. We would want to see that progress. Like I said, your profile has been very, very interesting. Would like to really stay connected. Is there something else that you would want to say personally to Sandeep sir through this message here?
I would say thank you so much. Thank you so much for all the push, for all the material, for all the guidance over here. Thank you to the entire top team and the entire ecosystem that you built to help everyone over here. Thank you
I
very
just
much.
want to stretch and ask, did you do the KTW sessions, and did you attend any of the webinars
I
that you
did
did?
attend those sessions as well, like the part of the RCA awareness program, and those are really insightful. Like it's good to know knowledge. It's not only GMAT, but it's really good to know knowledge. I think,
Yes.
I think people should, like, definitely, whoever has access should definitely listen it up. There's no downside to it. It's just a bit of time investment from you, but it will really propel you forward, I think.
Right. I do not know if you have the latest one, but I'm going to share this right after our conversation. So
Please
I would
do.
definitely help you, because it's also going to help you in your profile, in your career aspect as well, if you are having discussions with your clients, or having even a maybe network, social network, whatever, right? So
Yeah.
absolutely. It's so delightful to have you today, and having this conversation. Absolutely thrilling. Very, very inspiring story, Aryaman. And wishing you all the best. Thank you again for choosing Top 1%. And hopefully we'll connect back soon, okay, for your needs.
Mhm.
Good day. Bye-bye.
Right.